Hello, it's time for another episode of Discipleship Today. My name is Bob Benson. I pastor Christ Lutheran Church in Greenhurst and Bemis Point, New York. We've been talking about what discipleship is, how it looks, how do we flush this thing out. We've been called to be disciple-making disciples. So we invest in people, and something's just come up, and I've been thinking about it for a long time. How does our discipleship look? Are we looking just to download information? And I think that's a lot of what we think we need to do is give people more information. But is it all about the information? And I think there's a healthy balance, a healthy mix between information and incarnation. You can be the smartest person in the world, but never have a practical application of that intelligence. It has to be lived out. Nobody cares how much we know until they know how much we care. That is cliche, but it is absolutely true. Are we investing in just people's information, or are we all about the incarnation, people living out what they know? And I think we have to be about people living out what they know. How do we do that? Do we live life together? And when you're in a discipleship relationship, it means that you have access to everything in these people's lives, and then they have access to everything in your life. It has to be an honest, open communication both ways. That means sometimes that you're going to confess that you're struggling with something, and you're going to ask for advice. How do I live this out? And I think that we have to be more about the incarnation at that point than the information. Learning in itself is not wrong, but it has to apply to our lives. So what? You know the theory of relativity. How are you applying that to where you're headed or what you're working on? There has to be this connection. I know a lot of people that are very, very smart and do really stupid things. And are they living out what they know to be true? And that's what Jesus wants from us, is that we live out what we know to be true. The book of James talks about seeing how we live and how that affects what we know. The connection between those two things. So I'm going to encourage you to not just be about information, but be about that incarnation. How do we live this out? So what we know this, how do we live it out? And I would encourage you to just do a time of self-examination, do a time of communing with God, and asking yourself that question. Do I live out what I know to be true? So for Discipleship Today, my name is Bob Benson. Thank you for taking the time to watch.